Alright, hi! So I've decided I'm going to try and make my blog a vlog for at least like one post or so. And the first entry that I'm going to do is my very favorite sugar cookie recipe. Now this sugar cookie recipe hasn't always been my favorite, but it's based on the one that I grew up eating at Christmas with my family and rolling and icing and cutting. So it's that kind of cookie. And they're really, really good. And you shouldn't be afraid of rolled cookies because they're not as difficult to make as you would think. With most cooking, organization is key. So I got all of the ingredients pretty much laid out. We have 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, 1 egg, 2 sticks of butter that are in the process of coming to room temperature, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, we also, of course, have flour in the cookies, but I wanted to show you how easy and awesome it is to just weigh your flour instead of measuring it. Now, if you're going to measure the flour the traditional way with measuring cups, just spoon the flour lightly into the cup and then level it off with a knife. That's the best way to get the most accurate measurement for your flour, unless you have a handy-dandy kitchen scale. So the first thing you do, it's kind of like chemistry class, is you put your bowl on the scale and then you zero it out. So hit the on zero button, and all the listings on the package are in grams. So make sure your scale is set to grams, the metric system. In case you were wondering why we would ever need to learn that, this is why. So let's see, there are 30 grams of flour in 1/4 cup. So 30 times 4 for a cup is 120, times 3 for 3 cups of flour is 360. So we need 360 grams of flour. And the math begins. Who knew? All right, 250, oops, wait, what did I say, 360? That's right, yeah, okay. 366. Okay, that's a little too much. My hands are clean. There. So 360 grams of flour. I'll leave the flour out because we'll need it to flour our surface for when we're ready to roll out the dough. So we have the flour. To the flour we will add the 1 teaspoon of baking soda, the 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I have a correction to make. I know that I said 1 teaspoon of ginger like 30 seconds ago, but it's actually just a 1/2 teaspoon of dried ground ginger. So put that in. Okay, now whisk your dry ingredients together. Oops. Okay, there we go. Now, this part is messy, so be warned. This is the paddle attachment, so just stick that on your stand mixer and then add 2 sticks of butter. Now, this butter, I didn't soften it probably as long as I should have. It's kind of borderline. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mixer on with the butter in it alone as opposed to with the sugar, just to make sure that it's the proper consistency. You don't want it rock hard or it won't cream with the sugar. And if it's too warm, then the cookies flatten, the butter just melts when you put it in the oven instead of exploding into little pockets of steam that help poof the cookies up. Alright, put this over here, and let's give it a test run. Make sure the mixer is locked. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, now, like I said, this is the part that's really messy because this powdered sugar just poofs up in a big cloud of smoke, so don't say I didn't warn you. We'll open it. Add the sugar. It's already getting messy. Okay, put that in the sink. Now this is the vinegar. The vinegar adds a magical, kind of hard to put your finger on flavor to the cookies that is just awesome. And I think it might do some kind of crazy chemistry thing with the baking soda, but that's kind of over my head. So I will just gradually add the vinegar, and that will also help keep the powdered sugar from exploding all over the place a little. And then we'll turn it up, up. So yeah, it's about a medium speed right now. And we're creaming the butter and the sugar and the vinegar together. Now, you can't really see, but I'll show you, maybe. In the bottom of the bowl, it doesn't get to the very, very bottom, so that's why you have to use a spatula to scrape the ingredients and kind of turn them over so that everything gets fully incorporated and mixed up. Smush, just smush it around and try and, oops, poke it, cream it around, stir and mush. It's a very tactile sort of exercise. Okay. Okay, turn it back on.
Are you making cookies?
I am making cookies.
Yeah, so yeah.
As soon as my daughter is properly dressed, she will be helping me. Okay, so the butter is creamed with the sugar. Now for the egg. So add 1 egg. Make sure there's no shell. No shell. Very good. And then we will beat the egg in. Okay, and again, you need to scrape the bowl. Mush it all around. Okay, I'll put that there. That's good. Okay, turn it back on. Okay, stop. Now, you don't want it to be perfectly smooth. You want it to look almost slightly curdled. With most baking things, overmixing is a bad thing. So, now it's time for the flour. Oh, beautiful dress. It matches your popsicle. All right. Gradually add the flour, which is also baking soda and salt and ginger, but we already mixed that together. And then right about now, I'll stop it. Scrape down the bowl again. Looks really pretty. It's kind of flaky, you know, and falling apart. But it's so nice and light. Just magic. Okay. Turn it back on. And slowly, or gradually rather, add the remaining flour. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a quick zap to just pull it together a little. Okay, that's good enough. Now, like I said, the dough is just kind of really flaky looking, but it will absolutely hold together. See, this is what it looks like now, but if you squeeze it, it balls right up. It's perfect. Love this stuff. Okay. So throw that in the sink and collect all these little guys. And we're ready to roll out the cookie dough. So I will get this out of the way to give us more room. Put this over, and I'll put it here. And this goes there. Okay. So you need to flour the surface. I'm just going to roll this straight on the countertop. It's nice and clean. So this is how you spread flour out nicely. You put the flour in a little puddle in your palm, and then you use your thumb to kind of control how it sprays out when you flick your wrist around. So add just a little more. Okay, and now you need to put some flour on your rolling pin. Set that aside. We're ready to roll the dough. Probably should have kept my spatula a little longer. So I'm going to try and grab it and mush it into a ball so I can kind of control it a little bit easier. Probably should have mixed it just a little more, but it'll be just fine. Okay, so here's the dough. You see that? Very nice. And I'm gonna just mush it down. Okay. Let's see. I'm quickly running out of room. These are good little globs. I'm not giving them up.
I farted. A cookie.
Yeah. Okay, so now we roll out the dough.
Mommy,
Yes, Sola?
that's not a cupcake.
No, these aren't cupcakes.
That's a cookie.
Yeah, these are cookies. It's a little sticky because, you know, butter and egg is sticky stuff. So it starts to stick to your rolling pin. Just take a little more flour and roll it on there.
A cookie.
And if you have any leftover little balls of cookie dough and you find some holes, just patch them. And I'm more than happy to tell you about anything I screwed up. And I think the one thing I did mess up a little, I think I should have mixed the dough a little more. I do that a lot. I err on the side of not mixing enough because I'm afraid that things will get tough. So that's pretty good. So I'll take my egg cookie cutter and start cutting out my eggs for Easter. And these are really big cookie cutters, so they don't make a whole lot of cookies. But as you see, it only takes like 5 minutes to make the dough, so it's not that big of a deal. So use a spatula. To get it off. And then start dropping those on your cookie sheet. Our first sheet of cookies is ready to go into the oven. I preheated the oven to 375 degrees and I will bake them for about 14 minutes and hopefully they'll be done by then and I won't make you sit and watch the whole 14 minutes of baking, so if I'm wrong I'll be able to come right back and report. Okay, so now we'll wait and see.